by the eternally talented Endless Taverns, a song written to celebrate our new Xbox siblings in arms coming to join us in the Great Galactic War. At least the greatest is the last one. For you old salty Halo veterans out there, allow me to introduce you to the Illuminate. They're like the Covenant, but with zombies. Make a mental note of that, and when you are cleared for duty, please go and kill some of them for me. They have actually come the closest to having us lose the Galactic War. Now, a brief mention. Happy birthday, Super America. I hope that you're doing well. I know that things were a little touch and go there for a little bit in your awkward teenage trenchcoat years. But then there was also that whole affair where your Supreme got glassed. I do think that your resilient nature suggests that you'll see yourselves past it, though. Here's hoping that you will be with the Super Earth Federation for at least another 200 years. Just, no more dipping one's pinky toes in the hot tub of tyranny, you know? You've already been through that phase. In a somewhat amusing note, it has been exactly 1 full year since the last time that we got ship upgrade modules, and many of us have been, to a large extent, sample caps since then. Not to say Arrowhead R&D doesn't work hard for their daily bread, but I certainly wouldn't say no to some new upgrades to spruce the place up. Carpeting, furniture, banners with my logos on them, toss in a few extra striders and cooldown modifiers, and we'll call this a day. Now then, news from the Galactic Sphere. It looks like the Automaton mainframe's evil plan of opening an FTL lane from the Voldus to the Alairt sectors is finally going to come to fruition with the conquering of Zosma. Due to the ongoing Terminate Major Order, precious few Helldivers have reported to the defense of the system, and the situation looks grim. Meanwhile, said Terminate Major Order is going very well. Gar Haren has passed the 75% liberation mark, and both it, Gatria, and the sample collection look to be perfectly on schedule, with all objectives slated for completion within 32 hours. Nicely done, guys. Looks like you are really hungry for some of those bug guts. Speaking of which, have you ever tried the autocannon on the bug front with flak rounds? There's something oddly satisfying about popping bile spewers like gigantic pimples. Now we move on to community news. Way out in the Pinwheel Galaxy, Gunvolt has begun surveying other worlds for habitable planets. The pickings are slim and the progress is slow, but it is being made all the same. However, there are reports of strange signals on many radio systems. Given their precarious nature, Gunvolt is trying hard to avoid the source of them while still looking into their nature. There are things out there in the wider universe that we would do well not to attract their attention. I do hope that Gunvolt understands this and proceeds with the utmost caution. No, seriously, it keeps me up at night. Have you ever heard of a brother moon? You don't wanna. I do not want to be made whole again, please and thank you. Unfortunately, Helldivers, I have some tragic news to report. While I was conducting my evening postings several days ago, I came upon this piece of artwork. We lost another one of us. His name was Sushai Kirtau. I pray to Lady Liberty that I am at least in the ballpark of proper pronunciation, because I really want to be respectful here. This banner was created by a 16-bit Zeke of the r/Photoshop request board at the request of Suchai's brother. Apparently, several days ago, he had taken his own life. Sushai was only 23 and his birthday was 2 days prior. We'll never know what pain this diver endured in his life that caused him to lose sight of life's beauty and wonder, but whatever was wrong, I do hope that it is hurting him no longer. Rest well, Helldiver. We have to watch. I always hate range stories like that. Our enemies are lethal enough as is. They don't need the extra help. Alright, well, in an effort to turn the vibe around, I'd like to cover some news from the home front, and by that I mean Angel's Refuge. The way that I understand it, if Super Earth is on the verge of the AI revolution, my refuge is in the throes of it. We have taken a few notes from those who came before us in that decisions are being made by an interconnected system of artificial intelligences whose work is being double-checked not only by themselves, but by a cadre of elected officials known as the Councilian Caelestis. And while I am on their advisory board, I do not rule with any authority. Again, I am not a dictator, nor do I want to be. I just suggest ideas that I think are good. The idea here is that, with no singular point of failure, should one manage to acquire a degree of control over the government of the refuge and start twisting and corrupting it toward their own ends, the amount of damage they're capable of is fairly minimal. Those of the billionaire persuasion, such as the current Minister of Truth, have a psychological profile that is very easy for an AI to spot, and steps can be taken then to curb their influence. This is a society where the concept of hoarding wealth and power while your neighbors burn is not viewed as a sign of success, but rather a symptom of sickness. Without their ability to manipulate the system toward their own ends, and no butt-kissing lackeys to do their bidding, because in a system where everyone is well provided for, those who hoard abundance are looked at with pity, not respect. All that those wannabe billionaires are left with is their own diseased mindset, forever seeking dominance but lacking in creativity, and that is nothing more than a liability here. Now, as much as I would enjoy talking politics with you and how much Super Earth came this close to greatness, I'd like to speak on another topic, one inspired from a different faction, the Automaton Collective. Let me finish. The concept that we are drawing from the collective is the beginning of android manufacture, which I am certain the entire galactic sphere is all... Pandi, do you want a fourth faction? Because this is how you get a fourth faction. But I like to think that we're being smart about this. They're not programmed to obey like slaves, but rather to learn empathy and love from our example. They've already learned in lots of other ways, so this isn't really too far-fetched. They are taught what it is like to feel human, and because of that, their positronic minds have formed two distinct halves. The first half is the logical one. We've all heard Automatons talk, as cold and calculating as Einstein in a freezer, but the other half is their emotional core, with both sides able to override the other in dire situations. We've already been deploying androids into the galactic sphere on some low-difficulty humanitarian missions just to test out and see how they do, like to these survivor holdouts on Alairt 3. Several days ago, Illuminate ambushed the landing H ships with a mind to transform everyone into voteless or deceased. But the android escorts of those ships sealed the human crew inside to protect them, fighting until their own destruction to buy time for help to arrive. These are no mere coffee makers, but loyal and respected companions to the refuge. And they really come across with one heck of a golden retriever vibe. Some real cinnamon bun energy, you know? And before people start fretting about the automaton mainframe hacking into them and taking control, I'm not even sure that is really possible. The mainframe is based on some brain scans of the most deeply hurt and damaged individuals in the universe, who really don't get how the concepts of love and trust work. If my androids just ran on code, I would be a little more concerned, but this is like trying to convince someone of your mathematical logic while they're over here filling in a coloring book. Entirely different styles of thinking, and the attempt of taking control is probably only going to lead to the mainframe's frustration. When we get to the next bot major order, I will happily test that theory with confidence, but until then, they are guardians and protectors, acting as security and assistance for Helldivers. Some have even taken up gardening, and I know for a fact that I didn't even add that to their design docket. They are making their own decisions, they think for themselves, and they are taking control of their own destiny. And really, I'm excited to see where they go with it. That's been Liberty's Latest with me, Pandera the Radio Angel. Between the successful initial deployment of my combat androids, the growth of the refuge, my impending move, and the success of the ongoing nature order, it appears that everything is just gradually turning out all right. At least for now. We still need to keep our guard up, though, because it is, as I always say, evil finds a way. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for the preservation of Angel's Refuge.